Hello, everybody. Justin Chamness here, and today I'm going to talk to you about every way that I've tried to get messed over in this business. I know you're going to be interested in this. I've taken every chance that's ever been thrown at me of me getting screwed over in this business, and I've put it into a disclosure for my tenant buyers to sign. I'm going to go through that with you today, line by line. I think you'll find it greatly interesting. All right, so let's first of all, before we do that, welcome Friday Lease Option live stream. I'm Justin Chamness. I come to you live pretty much every day. I take days off sometimes and stuff like that. I go on trips and vacations and do things other than this, but I come to you regularly, and I'm so thankful that a good number of you are watching me. And I'm very pleased to know that I have something of value to offer you, that you'd spend your time with me. Thank you so much. It's encouraging to me. It really helps me when you comment, when you chat, when you like, when you share. God bless you. I love you. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Let's do this first. You know, I like to talk about this business in lots of different ways. Let's talk about, first of all, my email inbox. All right. I know you see there the Lifetime Movie Club. Hey, you know what? I got to get entertainment too, y'all. Lifetime Movie Club. You know I'm married right there when you see that. Okay. Look at this first email. Government update, Kansas City, Missouri. Now, that's where I live, proposing to add source of income to their protected classes. Hey, everybody. This is a big deal where I live, and it's a big deal in other places too. Okay. This is where the government is getting involved in changing the rules for how you can rent your property if you're a landlord. That's right. And they're proposing making it 2 times the rent is what the income. You can't turn anyone down as long as they say they're making 2 times the rent. That's just, guys and gals, that's just not enough. This is basically putting landlords out of business. All right. You need to be, as a real estate investor, aware that local municipalities and maybe beyond, I don't know, but they are doing things, making moves that are very, very, very anti-capitalistic, laissez-faire government, get your hands off, let the free market be free. Very not that. Okay. And you might want to look into your area. You might want to be, since you're such fanatics out there, right? You might want to at least stay up on this, because this is the lady that runs my local real estate association here where I live. Big deal here. Okay, but more than that, God bless her, for real. And she'll never hear this. But God bless Kim Tucker in Kansas City for spearheading this stuff and actually just being a true ambassador for the real estate community. All right. I don't know that she makes any money doing any of this, but it's important to her because obviously the people in the real estate investment business, landlords and otherwise, are important to her. And so she puts her time and effort into this. Incredible. All right. So look, they're trying to change all kinds of stuff. The basis of rent to income ratio. That's what I was just talking about. Adverse credit report or lack of credit history. All right. This is going to be something that you can't disqualify them for anymore. Prior eviction or alleged damages, prior convictions or arrests. All right. So be aware in your community what's happening. Be aware at least. And if you can get a part of a group like that, or maybe even you have to start a group like that. All right, which is not a bad idea. And I pray right now that somehow I'm speaking right to your heart, that you will do something in your community. At least stay up on what's happening, and then be a part of something that someone else is doing. If they ask you to call and complain, call the number and complain. Yeah, speak up. This is your country. This is your business. These are your property rights. All right. So I'm just encouraging you, be an American. All right. Here's the next email. REI reply set up. Somebody's interested in having me set up their REI reply like mine. I do that, everybody. All right. The next email, somebody got a deal. Look, this is a deal that somebody sent in to me. And man, it's a nice one. This is under contract. All right. Check that out. All right. So if anybody around Brainerd, Minnesota is working and has tenant buyers around that area, then by all means, give us the hookup. All right. Because we could partner up, perhaps make some money together, blah, blah, blah. All right. That's awesome. Congratulations, Ethan. Scraping Solutions. Oh, yeah. I had a little trouble with them this week, but I think they're ultimately going to be great. Congratulations on that property there, Rico, again. All right. PropStream, 31 new houses in Independence. That's my little suburb of Kansas City, Missouri. 31 new properties have been added. And the notice of default, that means they're going into foreclosure. Okay. That is a full-blown pre-foreclosure house. 31 new ones right here, my little. Do you think I should contact them? I think we should. I think we really should. Okay. 111 new properties added in vacant single-family residence. Oh, geez Louise, what is happening? Landlords are they're jumping off the Titanic like rats. 155 new properties have been added. Independence failed listings. 155. Are you hearing me? Pretty houses, y'all. Pretty houses. 155 of them failed listings. Just sitting there with their thumbs up there. Boop. Not knowing what to do. I guess they're having conversations like this. Well, what do we do now, Paul? I don't know, Ma. I guess we're going to have to put it back on Zillow. Try to sell it for sale by owner. We just do it ourselves because, that realtor, they didn't get it done. All right, maybe you should reach out. Maybe I should reach out since this is my town. But, maybe you should do this for your town. There's a thing I'm going on, a trip. There's an agreement there Joe's working on, and more deals, blah, blah, whatever. Okay, so real quick before we jump into the ways I've been screwed over in this business or attempted screwed over. Okay. This here, I want to invite you to get your next year set up right. All right. I want you to get your next year set up right so that you hit 2024 because we are already in it, y'all. We are already in the right time. That's right. We are in the right time to be in this business. And if you're waiting until 2024, then you're just killing time. You're starting late. Everybody's getting a head start on you. Matter of fact, I'm sorry to say, but if you're coming to me and you're like, oh, hey, now that it's all good, I want to get in on this good. Okay, well, great. No, I want to help and everything, but you're still going to have to put in your dues. You're going to have to pay some time in learning and the learning curve and all of this. Yes, it's going to take you a few weeks, 30, 60, 90 days. Some of you, it takes you 6 months to get up and running good. You have to change a little. I can't change that for you. You're going to blow the first 6 months of this year? I don't know, man. I wouldn't be caught doing that. This is a great time. All right, so I'm not here to lecture you. But if you want to get this year started off right, you want to have a plan. You want to have a day-to-day ready to go, and you want to have some inspiration and some motivation. You want to have some oomph going into the new year. That's what that's about. $29, ridiculously stupid price. Okay, let's jump into every way that I've been attempted screwed over by a tenant buyer in this deal we call lease options. Now, every way that I'm talking about, I've put it into a disclosure agreement. And this disclosure agreement I call a statement of understanding. Now, this is something that I require the tenant buyer to sign when we do the paperwork with them before they move into the property, before they wire me and the seller any money that we have coming to us before they move in, get the keys, all this. So they got to sign this off before they get the deal. And I want to go through this and I want to show you that we are basically outing all of their lies, if they have any, later on about what we said or did or how we set this up or blah, blah, blah. Let me give you why this agreement exists. Because it has happened that several months into a lease option transaction where a tenant buyer is living in the property, that they come to the end of their lease and they did not option to buy the house. They didn't buy it. Okay. And now the homeowner says, well, listen, are you going to be able to buy it? Well, no, we're not really able to buy it yet or anything. And we're not sure when we're going to be able to, but we still want to live here. And the seller says, no, thank you. And it has been where the tenant buyer was like, oh, well, then I got to move. Oh, okay, well, I'm a little miffed about it because I put a big down payment down and then I pretended like this was all going to just go however I wanted it to, like I do with everything in my life. And I didn't really care what the agreement said because I was going to have my own agreement in my head. And so what they do is they contact one of these, I don't know, I want to put an adjective to it, but they're lawyers, okay? They're attorneys. Contacts an attorney, the tenant buyer, and says, I've been taken advantage of. They set me up and now they're forcing me to move. Oh, I might have us a case. Tenant rights have been violated. And it has been that the attorney has called the office. Uh-oh. And it has been that the attorney explained to me the situation and that his clients, the tenant buyer, are very unhappy. And I would like, and here's what I recommend you say, because this is what has been said. Well, Mr. Lawyer, I'm sorry to hear that. Have they shared with you all of the documents and everything that we have between us in this arrangement? Oh, they haven't? Okay, well, may I share these with you? And the answer will always be yes. So when you go and send these to the attorney, it starts to complete a picture for that individual that they were told, that they did know, they did understand, they said they understood, and they signed. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a court somewhere and a lawyer somewhere and a deal somewhere where I couldn't be had, because I mean, everybody knows if they can get Donald Trump, they could get Justin Chamness. I get that. But so far in my career I've been doing this since 2000. My first deal was in 2005. I've been studying since 2001. So that goes to show you I was a slow start too. But since 2005, I've never been to court yet on this deal here. That's just my story. Okay. Now I'm not telling you that that's going to be your story. I'm not, because like I said, you're not Donald, if they can get Donald Trump, they can get you too. All right. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world. But thus far in my career, this statement of understanding has really, really been beneficial. And here we go as we read it now. Concerning, and this is what the tenant buyer will sign before the agreement. Before they get the keys, before they move in, when we're doing all the agreements with them on the front side. Concerning the property address, 123 Apple Cart Way, we, that's them, the tenant buyer, your end tenant buyer. It might be two people. That's why there's two blanks here. Jimmy and Jane. Understand, and it's their first and last name, by the way, Jimmy Doe and Jane Doe. Understand that we do not own the property and that it is owned by, and then you put the seller's name right here. Not you, the person on the deed. All right, paragraph 1, they initial right here too. We understand that the assignor, that's you, Mr. Wholesaler, is assigning their legal interest in this lease and option agreement for a profit. It tells you right there they know what's going on. We understand that the option to purchase fee is non-refundable. When they see that in black and white, bold and underlined, it's very clear, in my opinion, and may or may not be considered. In other words, this option fee that they're giving us up front may or may not be considered a down payment by their future home loan lender. Yep. We didn't guarantee them it was a down payment. We didn't guarantee them anything. I have been advised to seek the advice of a professional home loan lender to establish a workable plan for qualifying for a home loan during the time of this option to purchase. There you go. Remember I was saying 2 days ago in the dispositions part number 3 that we always, part number 2, I believe as well, we always advise them to go see a home loan lender and get a plan. If they do not, that is their fault. They will sign off on it right here and initial it that they were advised to. All right. I might break these down into more parts where they initial more frequently, but I have it arranged the way it is. I really, honestly, just so it'll fit on one page. I want it to be less intimidating. This is not a problem getting people to sign, though. I'll tell you that. The tenant buyer does not mind signing this at all. The second paragraph, they start initialing right there. And it reads, the property address above is being offered in as is condition. So they can't come back and say, oh, but wait, there's more. I need you to fix this and this and this and this before I buy it, or I'm going to try to sue you. No. As is condition. Now the next sentence, I have been advised to consider an inspection by a certified home inspector. I have been advised to seek legal counsel, financial and tax accounting counsel. What would that be? Maybe accountant, maybe, I don't know what that means. It means whatever you need it to mean. Professional real estate agent or broker counsel, or any other professional or vendor, and perform all necessary due diligence. I tried to cover all the bases before entering this lease and option to purchase agreement. So in other words, before you enter in this agreement, Mr. Tenant Buyer, you've been told that you should get an inspection done. You should talk to your attorney, your tax accountant, your bookkeeper, your professional real estate agent or broker, or any other professional or vendor. You should perform all necessary due diligence before you sign this. And then further, We have been advised that the value of the home may increase or decrease, and decrease is bold and underlined, during the time of the lease and option to purchase. Assignor, that's you, wholesaler, and owner, that's the owner of the house, the seller, makes no guarantees or promises, underlined bold, regarding the property's condition or current market value or future fair market value. We're not making any promises about the house will be worth this when you get to the finish line, or it won't be worth this. No, you're not going to get a refund on your. Nope, this non-refundable option fee up here does not suddenly become refundable because the house went down in value. Nope, doesn't happen. The home may decrease during the time of the lease and option to purchase. You, the wholesaler, and the owner make no guarantees about this, nor do you make any guarantees about the property's condition. And then furthermore, the tenant buyer says, I have been advised that I am not required to buy this property, but am purchasing and receiving the option to purchase. Okay? Nobody's forcing anybody. They don't buy, they're not getting any equitable rights. They're only getting an option to purchase. They have no rights of ownership. And we're going to talk about that later again. It gets hit again later in the document. No, you do not own it. You have an option to purchase it. Okay. The next paragraph says they sign or they initial, and then it says if we understand, it says if we, it shouldn't say if. Why does it say if? We understand all utilities are responsibility of tenant buyer. I'm going to change that right now. I'm just going to say our responsibility so there's no confusion there. And I've been using it that way for years, but there we go. Now there's no debate about who pays the utilities. But he said, she said, no. Here's the next one, the next paragraph. The initial. If we default on the property lease between the owner and the tenant buyer, okay? I'm gonna put blanks here for you guys. And then you don't have to wonder if they understand who's who. Okay, so the owner, that's the seller, and the tenant, that's the tenant that's moving in, the tenant buyer, you're in buyer. Okay, if they have a lease agreement, if signing this, it would be them. If it's not, then you'll have to, if you're sandwiching it, you'll have to change this paragraph a little bit. Okay, if you want to know how to do that, get on my 15-minute calendar and I'll be happy to talk to you. Okay, let's look at it again. If we default on the property lease between the owner and us, all beneficial options or rights of purchase for the tenant's buyers are suspended. Okay, I'm going to put their name right here too. I'm going to put a blank right there because I want this to be super clear. All right. We understand that if we are leasing the property from the owner and that if we default on the lease payments, that subject to whatever interest the law may determine us to have at law, assigned to at law, okay. Assigned to me is not a right of ownership in the property, nor guarantees me any equitable interest unless I exercise my option to purchase. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a line. That's why it didn't make sense. Subject to whatever interest the law may determine us to have at law, I will be evicted as a tenant or resident. In other words, they're saying, listen, I get it. If I don't pay the rent, my down payment isn't like good as like the rent, you know. You hear some goofy stuff sometimes in this business, and that's why this document exists. Okay, here they are saying in this paragraph, listen, I know I'm just a tenant, and if I quit paying the rent, you're going to evict me. Okay, and I'll have whatever chances I have at the courthouse. All right, but what you're assigning here to me is not a right of ownership in the property, nor guarantees me any equitable interest that I exercise my option to purchase. Makes a whole lot more sense when your eyes aren't crossed like mine and you skip lines. Okay. Now the last paragraph says, I understand that the wholesaler guy here, that's you, is not a realtor. Okay. Not a realtor at all. So you're not representing anybody. Realtors represent a seller or they represent a buyer. They are licensed representatives. Okay. You're not representing anyone. You're representing you. So that's why this document exists, because you're not representing this tenant buyer. You are actually in what I consider mercenary position. Okay. Right. So there's you have an ulterior motive, which is your own profit in this deal. And this document makes that bloody clear. It also makes it very clear that you're not guaranteeing anything as far as values or as far as the condition of the property or any of the things that the tenant buyer might come back and say that the money they put into it is refundable in some way. It's not. Okay. That they maybe have some kind of right of ownership. They don't. Okay. They're renters. That if they quit paying the rent, it's okay because they put 10,000 down and you can just use that as rent for a while. No, that's not how it works. You'll get evicted. Okay. All of that goes into this document. This is about this, since I said I was started my first deal in 2005. Back in 2005, I didn't know how to wholesale assign lease options. All I knew how to do was sandwich them. So I was sandwiching literally every garbage deal that I found. And man, that was bad, but it was a good learning lesson. So it ultimately ended in bad. It was bad, but that's because I didn't know how to assign anything that had no equity and no monthly profits. And so I had built this portfolio of houses with no money in it monthly, and it's horrible. Okay. So, very little money. Okay. Very little. So I was getting $50, $75 maybe, you know. So I'm smarter about it. And see, these are some learning mistakes that I've made. And then I've had some very uncomfortable conversations with homeowners, and I've had some extremely uncomfortable conversations with tenant buyers too. So it all just kind of is part of being a landlord. But this document here saves me from a lot of that kind of baloney. Plus, as you go through this and the tenant buyer signs this, okay, what they're doing is they're acknowledging that, hey, I'm an adult here. I've considered the ins and outs, and I'm not tying myself to this guy, you, the wholesaler, for the next however long. This document here, it says that I understand what I'm doing, and I'm accepting this assignment that he's assigning to me, and that this is what's up, and I get it. Okay. Now, like I said, it's happened that attorneys have called, and it has happened that when they've seen the documents that we provide, and that it was like, okay, well, we never hear from them again. Okay. That has happened. Okay. So, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, I'm nothing. Okay. I'm just a businessman, just like you. Okay. Just like Donald Trump. Okay. All right. So, anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have a blessed weekend. I hope that helped a little bit. I do have a brand new lease option agreement for 2024. If you're in my club, you should check it out because it's pretty baller. I've already got people signing it, homeowners, Here we go. Get in this $29, get your ass ready for next year class. Okay, that's really what this is. All right, you guys love to talk about it and love to talk about it and talk about it till you're dead. All right, I'm trying to get you up off the couch and get you doing something productive a little bit every day that gets you moving towards your goals so that you can actually have some passion. You know what Anthony Robbins says? Anthony Robbins says that your emotions follow your motions. And so if your motion is just sitting still, not doing nothing on your business, your emotional quality about your business is also in the shit, is in the tank. All right. It's because you're not getting anything done on it. I believe me. How do I know this? Maybe because I've done it too. All right. So this is an opportunity to go into the new year with a new plan and a new fire about it. All right. And some new friends. And that's what you need too. Because if you got 9 broke friends, you'll be the 10th one. Duh. If you got 10 not broke friends, you'll also be, or you had 9 not broke friends, you'll be the 10th not broke friend. Love you. Go make a sandwich this weekend.